Um... I mean, there's looks like I can't. Or I could go that way and avoid that conflict. Okay. This is great. I'm so happy about all this. Oh, greetings. Formerly of Thistleholm, you guys look like you belong. Fatebinder, no doubt? What are all these nobles doing here? Trying to look away, I warrant, but if you crane an ear of their conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunon set up shop in the Bastard City, we're still getting used to our new masters, figuring out what we can and can't ask them. They're smart, bring plenty folk. The way they approach Tunon, you'd think they'd raise under a tyrant's lash. Some settled to come grievances, others pledge fealty. How fair to conquest since the conquest. Armies claim the city quite a more organized manner than I expected. I can credit them much, to be sure. Thanks to the coarse infiltrators, most of our officials were put to the sword before we surrendered. The chaos made the takeover easy for Kairos' forces, but controlling the city without any leaders to bend the knee was harder work. How's a noble like yourself to Turon's court? Like the rest of the frightened inbreds, I came to see Turon asked to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the Abjugar my woes, and we didn't exactly see eye to eye. Tell me about yourself. I'm the daughter of a noble house. We were wealthy enough to live in the city, but other means beyond that were limited. My mother dealt in fish, textiles, and bronze. By the time I inherited the business, it was taking care of itself. What is this a home? It's my family's ancestral hall. The oldest stones date back to the years when the Bastard City was not but dozens of roofs and wagons clustering for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age has softened the wood, and its queer placement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds where lords and ladies strode for amusement. It was a mess, but it was our mess none the same. I would invite you over for tea, but it's a gaping hole. What happened? Collateral damage. When the Abjugar cast judgment on the Bastard City, he destroyed the districts and corrupted merchant kings and the warehouses. What are you gonna do next? I should appeal, seeing for reason. Considering my case for all 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plow of land on the outskirts of the city. Told me to build a new, start farming. Farming? Can you believe that? It's not even that I'm opposed to labor, but we're in war. I can't have the scarlet coursers bringing down and not grading my crops, and Kairos knows what else. Kairos' law is made to serve the masses and not the individual. I can appreciate that, especially when there's suffering and corruption on a grand scale. It makes sense on parchment, doesn't it? I came from a long line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Turon's justice with Kairos' law. There's something wrong about it all. Maybe Turon knows something I don't. What do you mean? I come here for justice. They usually get a version of it, but Tunon's version, not theirs. Half the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of the ruling. The deed to the farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew Kairos while I was worked, they might not come here seeking ruling, even a fair one. Tunon is a servant of law, but he's the Overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems he likes to use his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on the board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies it that we stand. That doesn't sound legal. Kairos defines law that isn't either of us to question. I suppose not. The Bastard City used to have laws of women and mankind. Now we have the laws of the Overlord. The people will get accustomed to it in time, and so will I. Good day, Fatebinder. hope he likes me. It sounds like he could kick my ass if he wanted to. Getting up there. Slowly getting up there. Slowly getting up there. Anybody else I should talk to? Noble, noble, noble. Noble, noble. Poor officer. Alright. Let's get this over with. Oh no. Hello, Tunon. Great.
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can imagine why my version conflicts with his. On my honor and on the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before your actions, Archon. Oh, you imply the falsehood come easier to my lips than yours? You're a fool if you believe the Archon and Justice won't see through your lies because disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bled and Mark will see to your fate. Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
The Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege, and descended into accusation. The Archons have been in different minds since the start of the war.
Your perspective is appreciated, but the dispositions of the two Archons are already a matter of record. Loyal subjects of Kairos have drawn blood from each other, a cardinal crime. Something happened at Vendrian's well to trigger this feud.
They could not agree on who would lead the siege. The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the guard at every turn. What babberdash! The disfavored couldn't tip a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy, if only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time. Let us speak of Ascension Hall. The disfavored sing your praises across the realm, though the Scarlet Chorus appeal for charges of treason. Perhaps you can offer a more enlightened account.
I claim the Citadel with a small unit of disfavored.
An efficient solution. The type I would expect from a capable agent. Tell me though, with the edict looming overhead and death the price of failure, why not employ the numerical advantage of the Scarlet Chorus?
The siege called for tactics and planning and not raw numbers.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I have told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder. A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there. Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened. This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage, and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus. Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the tiers.
Could they perhaps both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos. As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name. But you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy. You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony, but it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
If Ashengrave were guilty, I imagine his soldiers would lie for him.
I concur. Graven Ash has a reputation for honor and nobility, but nobody is above reproach. If he is guilty of treachery in some fashion, his loyal soldiers will not be the ones to betray him. But if anyone is conducting a symphony of lies, common sense would point to the voices of Nerat. Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. Though the disfavored were triumphant in the Blade Grave, I understand that their troubles within the region are unfinished. Talk to the disfavored commanders serving in the Blade Grave. Perhaps they can shine some light on the origins of this feud. The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's Crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
I am in a privileged position to accomplishing. I was only doing my job, Your Honor.
Your sense of obligation to your role is admirable, but modesty will not recommend you to the task ahead. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again. I would encourage you to do so again.
Understood. I will be the champion of justice.
Good. It falls to us to set a new standard for these southern barbarians. You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tears in Kairos' name.
Okay. 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 Alright, so talk to Ashengrave. Do things. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's just fine. 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 Alright, how am I doing? Well, disfavored like me. Scarlet Chorus hates me. The Bronze Brotherhood hates me. They really hate me. I'm getting to know them. He likes me. She really likes me. She hates me. We're getting there. He really likes me. And he hates me considerably. Alright, let's speak.
No can do.
We should speak to the Fatebinders to see what we can
Negative,
learn.
Fatebinder.
I don't like all this. This is not fine. Okay. Ah, Draka, you returned, unscathed and more proclaimed than ever, as seems to be your way. Come, you must regale me with all that your journey has held. I could use a moment respite between friends. As you wish, I paid a boar's weight in rings to know your thoughts. I've claimed the spire at the well. Of course, the court whispers are true. Someday I would like to witness myself this tower that rises above realms like a blade thrust to the sky. Can you remind me of the history and origin of Fatebinders? We're a relatively young order, though we have spanned these 2 centuries. While the voices in Iran and Ashengrave need armies to execute their will, Tunon wields but a modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in all of Teteros beyond our judgment. I'm curious about Turon's masks. They could be rather unsettling, can they be? Even to one such as me, but I can assure you the innocent need not fear the objective, emotionless gaze. What abjure mask would you like to know? The silent. Silent shows now is beyond belief. Silence of patient face, a face for listening as Tunon preserves all matters of court. Face of resolved. The last known dawning of the face of resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts in the bastard city. Since then he has ruled the northern tier calmly and with efficient diplomacy. The face of no more. I've heard worn a 3rd mask in aeons past. I have heard rumors that the face displeased Kairos and thus was destroyed. All happens to be persons and objects that displease their lord. Have you seen Tunon change mask? In what way you and I would change around it? Not such. Yet I've seen the mask shift. They switch without the abjurer or anybody so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can unfold for a time. You merely realize it's just what has happened. How did you sing out to be a Fatebinder? I cannot speak for the other Fatebinders, but I joined the court when I was still a boy, in Pernimus Brown reason. I had been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of desecrating corpses. It was nothing as so exciting you're no doubt to imagine. I was merely burning corpses that awaited burial. Before the local authority could send me to the gallows, the abjurer claimed me a great talent awaiting to be realized. Why burn the bodies? Corpses were piling up in the city. Fast, why was it a crime? Superstitious? Nothing he spared you? As have I. The abjurer saw within me something of rare great value. Okay, Scarlet. Brute force is favored. Alright, hi. Draka, I've seen your return. Your exploits of the well are a matter of some discussion. Has anything happened while I was away? There have been whispers that Cain grew disloyal to Ashengrave's command during the campaign in Azure. I took up the mantle of investigations near Planesgate, judging the rumors to be true, dispatched Karn by complaining Kairos' Edict of Stone. The very earth turned against the traitorous Archon as the region split asunder. How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? He sends me on assignments here and there. I settle the disputes between the locals and Abdicator. Otherwise are occupied. Everything trade is Christmas. We cannot crush the opposition such. I don't want to piss anybody off. Fatebinder, you return. Tell me about the past Archons. Second Archon Lightning controls her. He lets slip a card and risks execution. What did you study when you were younger? I was a ward. Brash. Finest. Discern. She's perhaps Tunon's favorite. Old walls, ancient structures. Tears. Younger realms. Stalwart haven. Free cities. Hi.
At your service, Fatebinder. What do you need?
I cannot.
I just talked to him and everything's fine. Great. Hi. Welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict drop, I guess I'm glad you lived. Heard you threw your rings on Ashengrave's side. Not a bad bet to pick the Archon of War. But tell me the truth. Did you go with Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do? Or because supporting the Vorses was a worse decision? Neither. Archon was at their best, but Ashengrave seemed more capable. His favorite are nothing if not blindly devoted to their general, and though few in number, they are surprisingly difficult to kill. I don't have to like it to understand it. We both have our ways of turning the tides of war. All that matters is that the Edict of Execution was stayed. Those stations at the well should be thanking you for their lives. I'm assuming you're gonna go meet with Ash first, but you and I need to have a little chat. I'm listening. Everyone's keeping an eye on you because you did something nobody has done before. Take a guess what that might be. The Fatebinder to awaken the spire at the old walls? You're not wrong. That was definitely a shock, but I doubt it's the sole reason you've made the tears tremble. Proclaiming an edict is new. Neither is surviving or resolving commandments of an edict, but you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you proclaimed, and awoke a arcane structure that slept for several centuries. Why are you telling me this? Did I do something wrong? Calm down, kid. This isn't a list of charges. Persecution isn't part of my job description. Executing a judgment, well, that's another matter. I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Sticking with the disfavored is a smart idea, kid. At least smarter than getting mixed up in the Arcana secrets. You'll never really be one of them, but if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you the best they can. Thanks for the advice. I have a feeling I shouldn't piss him off. And even if I do, well, he's a deadly assassin. Great. Great.